This is the thing, President Trump, if you do not start prosecuting and start pushing back against these tech giants, it's not just Twitter and you saw the interview on Joe Rogan Experience there. It's not just Facebook. It's also Pinterest. It's also Google search, by the way. It's Google News. It's all these tech companies. It's YouTube. If you don't start pushing back, number one, you're going to lose the election, no question about it. And number two, you're going to lose the independent media that got you elected in the first place.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
I've got a message today for President Trump. I've been talking to a lot of people across the independent media. As you're aware, InfoWars and my operation Natural News, we have a lot of contacts and we know basically everybody across the industry. And I've decided to go ahead and share this publicly. President Trump, the independent media is very, very close to running out of patience, very close to turning against you, essentially, if you don't deal with the censorship issue. You've heard the talk now for over 2 years. The independent media is being selectively censored, illegally censored by the tech giants that are violating Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, the CDA. They are acting as editorial publishers, and yet they claim to have legal immunity against all content under Section 230. Well, you can't have both. It's either an open and free platform where everybody can speak, that's how you get the legal immunity, or if you're going to have selective publishing and editorializing, then you're responsible for your content. And it's time, President Trump and all the staffers who have contact with President Trump, it's time to order William Barr to criminally prosecute these tech giants for their massive, widespread violations of law and also violations of basic civil rights of the American people. The American people are being stifled, their voices are being silenced, and it's all selective based on their politics, or even if they talk about vaccine hazards, like I talk about. We are being censored. Christian voices are being censored. Pastors are being cut off. You can't quote Bible scripture now without being silenced by all these tech giants. And then they go before Congress and they lie and they claim, oh, we're not censoring anybody based on politics. Oh, and then they censored Zero Hedge just the other day. And then when there was a big outcry about that, they said, oh, we made a mistake. Well, they just censor anybody they want. And occasionally they reverse it when there's a big enough outcry. But what they are doing is illegal. And it's time to start prosecuting these companies. This is the thing, President Trump, if you do not start prosecuting and start pushing back against these tech giants, it's not just Twitter and you saw the interview on Joe Rogan Experience there. It's not just Facebook. It's also Pinterest. It's also Google search, by the way. It's Google News. It's all these tech companies. It's YouTube. If you don't start pushing back, number one, you're going to lose the election, no question about it. And number two, you're going to lose the independent media that got you elected in the first place. And I don't say this as a threat. I mean, I've been a Trump supporter from day one, and we have given President Trump a lot of leeway, and we've had a lot of patience. Even when the president put some very questionable people in power, such as Jeff Sessions, who turned out to be an absolute traitor, who stood by and let the deep state run roughshod over our democracy, our republic. Jeff Sessions was in there because President Trump nominated him. And there were other people like that who turned out to be disasters. We are asserting this right now, that President Trump, you are important for this country. You are, there's almost a divine reason why you were chosen to have this power in this time. But if you don't use that power, if you don't express your purpose for being there, then all is lost. And your purpose for being there is not to get along with the opposition. It's not to make friends in Washington. If I dare say, your purpose in being there is to tear down that corrupt system, to prosecute the deep state criminals. You need to, in my opinion, demand that the Department of Justice prosecute these people, demand that William Barr go after these deep state criminals. You need to, in my opinion, release the previously classified documents on the FISA warrants, release the documents that show the deep state criminality and even the Obama complicity in spying illegally on American citizens who were associated with your campaign, President Trump. If you don't do these things, you will lose the election, but we will also lose our country. And I fear that if that happens, things will very quickly break down into an actual violent civil war scenario following the 2020 election. If Trump loses that election, I have a very strong feeling that the patriots and the Christians and the independent media journalists are all going to conclude correctly that the Democrats stole the election. And we are probably going to end up saying that that's an illegitimate election because you have so much massive voter fraud. You have the popular vote compact now being pushed by leftists. You have illegals voting in California, and you have suppression of speech of conservatives. How can you have fair and free elections in a society where you can't debate ideas in the online public square? What Twitter is doing in banning me and banning Alex Jones and banning all the important voices, what YouTube and Google and Facebook are doing in this selective banning is they are stealing the election. This is election meddling. This is a crime. These are criminal offenses. This is conspiracy to commit election fraud. And I find it fascinating that Robert Mueller charged Russian companies with that exact crime, conspiracy to interfere with America's elections, even though there was scant evidence that anything had happened. Maybe $100,000 worth of ads run on Facebook by some Russia-linked companies. That's it. I'm talking about billions of dollars worth of election meddling now being carried out by the tech giants. When they silence conservative voices and they only allow the pro-Clinton voices or the pro-AOC voices or the liberal Democrat voices to be heard, that is election meddling on a massive scale. And I'm almost at the point where I might launch a meme on this called "No speech, no consent." If you don't give us our speech, we don't consent to you winning the election. Because without speech, you can't have debates, and without debates, you don't have a democracy. You don't have fair and free elections if you don't have the right to speak and to have your voices heard. The tech giants are engaged in election meddling at a scale that has never been witnessed before in the history of our civilization, in the history of our nation. And it looks like Trump is doing nothing on this issue. And it's incomprehensible to those of us in the independent media, even those of us who supported Trump and voted for Trump. Why, President Trump, why aren't you ordering executive orders to deal with this? Why aren't you ordering the tech giants to respect freedom of speech? Why aren't you invoking the DOJ to go after them, or the FTC antitrust action to go after them? I mean, the president even has the power to seize private corporations. I'm not saying that would be the right tactic here, but you have that power. You could declare that these are public spaces, that this is part of the modern public infrastructure, which Twitter arguably is. Why does one man, the CEO of Twitter, why does he have the power to determine who gets to speak and who gets silenced in America? Why? Why are we living in that kind of society? An unelected, someone who has zero transparency, their algorithms are all secret. They never answer to the voters. And they're not being prosecuted. They need to be broken up. And you know what? Elizabeth Warren, as much as she should be condemned for declaring herself to be an Indian when she really wasn't, she's right about this point, that the tech giants need to be broken up. And a big question that I have today is, why is Elizabeth Warren the only prominent voice out there saying break up these tech giants? Where are the conservatives on this issue? Where is President Trump? Where are the conservative senators on this issue? Elizabeth Warren is correct on this. And by the way, just as a side note, Ilhan Omar is also correct in saying that Obama was a pretty face for murdering people that he wanted to murder around the world. She was actually correct in saying that. You know, not everything that these Democrats say is wrong. Their core principles are wrong. Socialism is wrong. But every once in a while, there's something that is just spot on, absolutely true. And of course, the Democrat Party, tried to put her back in her place. Don't talk about Obama like that, because she happened to utter the truth for a moment. We got a glimpse of the truth out of the mouth of Omar. We got a glimpse of truth out of the mouth of Warren. The tech giants need to be broken up. If they don't, this country is gone. They will destroy America with online fascism. All speech that they don't like will be wiped out, silenced forever, and we will lose the future of our country. President Trump, get on this. We're with you if you take action.
Getting your protein has never been easier with InfoWars Life Protein Bars. Available in delicious chocolate peanut butter and vanilla coconut flavors, these protein bars are the perfect answer for a snack on the go. InfoWars Life Protein Bars are nutrient-packed, portable protein bars for an easy-to-eat and great-tasting meal. Pre- or post-workout fuel alternative. At just 240 calories per bar and 15 grams of protein each, these bars will be your favorite at-hand snack for at home, in the car, at work, or on the go, for getting nutrients easily. High in fiber and nutrients with wholesome ingredients for high-level performance with great taste, such as whey protein and chocolate compounds. These protein bars can help you with the boost you need to reach your goals. Protein-packed and full of fiber and healthy ingredients, InfoWars Life Protein Bars are a can't-miss snack for any InfoWarrior serious about their energy. Try both flavors today at InfoWarsStore.com.